everyone, it's Ahara Stars with Astrology. A little bit casual right now. I wanted to do a quick video about the full moons and what they bring about in terms of where they're transiting or which house each full moon is occurring in, because there's a full moon coming up and it just got me thinking about it. So full moons are intense energy, emotional energy. They enhance, illuminate, and intensify our emotions, our feelings, our needs. And they're also extremely excellent for you to set your intentions with because of the emotional power behind full moons. Full moons raise our emotions and our needs become really obvious. And sometimes we have to take action based on the fact that we're emotionally feeling things so strongly. So depending upon what house the full moon is occurring for you, I'm not going to get so much into the intention part right now about setting your intentions and using it to manifest. But I'm going to explain what happens when the full moon occurs in each house. Okay. So every time there's a full moon, you can look at what house it's occurring in and then watch this video to know what to expect. So as I said, the full moon is our emotions, our feelings, our subconscious. So it's also our home, our nurture, the things that bring us comfort, all this stuff. So when it's in full effect and when it's full, it's very powerful. It's very strong. Like I said, our emotions are enhanced. Our intuition is very powerful and our subconscious becomes illuminated. So I'll start with the first house. When the full moon occurs in your first house of your physical body, and it's not just your physical body, but it's the way that you exert yourself. It's a house of Aries. It's action oriented. Okay. It's where you take action. It's how you approach the world. It's the face that you wear when you approach the world as well. But it's a house of courage. So when the full moon occurs there, illuminations, realizations, and intense emotions become directed and focused towards yourself and your own needs. Also, according to your physical body, you can be illuminated as to some changes that you want to make with regards to your image, how you project yourself. You can suddenly realize matters of the subconscious about how you've been approaching things, about whether or not you've been approaching things, about how you appear to others, about your image and all that stuff. Because the first house is the overall personality of what people actually see and how you project your energy and how you go about doing things along with your physical body. So you can realize a lot of things about yourself, okay? Because the full moon, again, is shining light on the subconscious about you, about your physical body, about all these things. So it's a good time to use the energy of the full moon to write out what changes you'd like to make about yourself, because you're going to be feeling full awareness of it. You're going to be able to see with full awareness, and you're also going to be able to have the emotional power to make these changes. In other words, you're going to feel so strongly about it that you're going to actually want to do it. And you can set your intentions. You write down your intentions on the full moon about the changes you want to make according to yourself. Now, regardless of what house the full moon is happening, your emotions are going to be intensified. Full moons are full illumination, full intensity, full realizations. It's amplified, okay? And with this amplification, you can write down your intentions with full emotional power, like of making a plan of the things that you want to do. And since it's your first house, it really applies to anything in your life because it's about you. So you start to realize, see, and feel emotional power about things and changes that you want to make regarding yourself. It's kind of like a New Year's Eve resolution on the full moon, okay? Because it's been building up to this point. Now you also, from the last new moon until the full moon, the new moon is a good time to start projects, to start something. For instance, if you want to start a workout regime, whatever. And by the time the full moon comes, it's at full illumination, you get to see your results as well. Okay, so new moons are good times to start things, and full moons are good times to set your intentions with full emotional power. So it according to how it's going to play out, besides what I was telling you about realizing things about yourself, having the full emotional power to put your intentions into the things that you want to accomplish or do, or changes you want to make regarding yourself, you're going to have the general overall effects as with everyone else during the full moon. And that is amplified needs, amplified emotions, and a lot of people will want to address situations because it's like at the full moon you feel like you're running out of time. You feel like I have to get this out before right now, before we start the new moon. There's a sense of urgency attached to it. A sense of urgency. So, you may want to say something to somebody if something's been bothering you. If you're not happy with something, you may want to address the situation, of whatever it is, because you are feeling emotional intensity and emotional urgency. That's what the full moon does, just in general. So that's an overall of the full moon in the first house. So now, cut. I'm doing this so I can set timestamps for everybody. All right, so when the full moon occurs in the second house, you're going to get full illumination, full realization of the subconscious, and intensified emotions to set towards goals that you want to occur in areas of what you value, your money, the things you'd like to purchase or acquire, along with what brings you pleasure, the things that bring you pleasure, Venus ruled type things. Also, you will become fully aware of your diplomacy and your tact, or lack of it, when it comes to other people and your relationships with other people. So the full moon eliminates your subconscious needs and wants in this area. You can suddenly become aware of something that you want to purchase, a new business idea, a new way to make money, a new way to expand your business, what it is that really brings you pleasure, and your own needs in terms of sensuality, pleasure, and acquisition. So like, you are also going to feel intensified emotions. So because of this, it's a really good time for you to set your intentions in terms of what it is that you would like to further in as far as the second house is concerned. Again, you can set your intentions as far as how much money you want to make from the full moon until the next full moon, right? Because you're using the emotional energy. Everything is energy. So when full moons occur, our emotions are intensified. We feel this sense of urgency. We feel this need to do something, right? To say something, to express ourselves emotionally, to put that emotion into something. It's amplified emotions, right? Aside from revelations, illuminations, and things that become from our subconscious to our consciousness. So you may subconsciously want something or need something, and maybe you don't really realize it yet, and then the full moon comes and you go, I really need a new computer, or I really want, whatever it is. I'm just using that as an example because it comes to your house of I have, the things that you have, okay, and also what it is that you value. So you will realize things will just come to you during the full moon, and you'll want to express yourself, express your needs regarding these things as the full moon occurs in the second house. And then you set your intentions as far with the emotional energy of what it is that you want to obtain. So you can write out a list, for instance, and do it in present tense or past tense, whatever. I have a new car, blue car, but when you write it with the full moon, it's like I have, and you feel it, and that energy goes into it because you're feeling things more intensely. So whatever your goals are to achieve in terms of finances, in terms of acquisition, in terms of your values, what you find valuable, in terms of your own needs, in terms of romance, sensuality, all these things, you may want to discuss these suddenly with your partner in the full moon. You're like, you don't bring me flowers. You know what I mean? It's Venus. It's Venus house of flowers, of love, of romance, of gifts, of things you purchase, of the money that you make and earn. So the full moon's gonna illuminate all of this and bring your desires to the next notch. Okay, so it's perfect for setting intentions, perfect for becoming aware of those needs, and then not so perfect for necessarily discussing them, because full moon's amplified energy, remember? It's going to be lashing out. Instead of, you don't bring me flowers, you're going to be like, you don't bring me flowers. And it's like not going to work out in your favor because you're at full emotional power. Okay, so you will become aware of these things. Your subconscious will be illuminated in this area. You can set your intentions in this area and set your goals, but definitely write down your list of things that you want to accomplish, things you want to acquire, things that you need, and then discuss them on a new moon when you're going to put them into action. Is probably the best, because full moons are just powerful emotions. We feel a sense of urgency, like we have to let it out right now, and it's high voltage. It's not exactly voltage because it's the moon, but it's high emotions. So use that emotional power to obtain your goals and set your and to uncover the subconscious needs of what you have, your subconscious needs, and then put them in, and then start them on the new moon. All right, so the next one, cut. I'm doing this for timestamps, everybody. So the full moon is activating your third house. This means that illuminations, realizations, and full emotional intensity power is going to be put into your third house of communication, neighbors, siblings, writing, speaking, getting information to and from, technology, phones, computers, cars, all of that stuff, any way that you transport information to and from, along with your local environment and along with your siblings. So when the full moon occurs, it's full emotional power. It's complete illumination of the subconscious mind. The moon rolls over the subconscious as well. And your emotional needs along with your security, because the moon has a lot to do with that. It rules the fourth house of security, home, mother, and comforts and stuff. So when the moon is full, you are on full emotional power. Okay, so you don't want to really address any issues that you uncover subconsciously during this time period. You don't want to actually communicate them during the full moon, because you're likely to come across pretty emotional. So when the full moon occurs in the third house, you're going to realize and uncover things that you were unaware of in terms of the way that you communicate, in terms of the way that your technology, in terms of your neighborhood, of your local neighborhood, and in terms of your relationships with your siblings. So illuminations and realizations from your subconscious will become available, and they're going to be on full emotional power. So if you're upset with a neighbor or you're upset with a sibling, you're going to really feel like, I have to address the situation right now. There's a sense of urgency with full moons because they're amplified emotional power. So what you want to do, instead of addressing any of these situations, you're going to uncover the things that you need technology-wise. You're going to realize how you can communicate better. You're going to tap into your subconscious about these types of things. Think areas in which you want to learn new things. You can suddenly go, you know what, I'm really interested in this during the full moon, because basically the light is being shined on your subconscious mind, which we don't have access to all the time, but full moons do tend to illuminate these areas. So things that we need become conscious to us. So it's a good time to set your intentions on the full moon, because it's full emotional power, right? You feel like, I have to do something right now. You feel emotionally strong. You usually want to express yourself in a purely emotional way, very powerfully. You can feel sentimental and sensitive. You can start feeling nostalgic, because this is all your mind communications, information, all cerebral stuff, and local neighborhood and how you get information to and from. It's Mercury's house, the messenger. So you can get intuitive messages, okay? Intuitive messages of things that you need, things that you want, changes that you could make in these areas. You don't want to address any serious issues during the full moon, although they will become quite prevalent and you will want to do it. You'll feel like, I have to do it right now. And the truth of the matter is you don't need to do it right now. What you need to do is you need to write down your intentions. You need to write down your intentions with that full emotional power. Speak them into existence during the full moon. This is the perfect time to do it. The emotions that you have and the level of emotional intensity that you have, you will speak with full emotional intensity, and you'll be able to bring things about or manifest things quickly during that with the full moon's power as well. Full illumination, full emotional power. Emotional power is actually something that needs to be used towards the things that we want rather than using it to destroy things or upset people or things like that. So you can write your intentions on things that you'd like to acquire in terms of technology, in terms of cars, in terms of transportation. If you want to start writing a book, you can get realizations of that. If you want to, think about how you've been communicating and how effective you've been, you might realize, oh, I had this conversation with so-and-so and I wasn't exactly as diplomatic as I could have been. Whatever. I'm just giving you examples because this is just coming off the top of my head, but it's realizations and awareness and intuition is heightened as well. But things that are in your subconscious, they become illuminated. So you might have been thinking somehow that you need a new computer or something, but you haven't really put it into focus. And all of a sudden the full moon is like, brings it to you and you go, you know what, I really would like to have that computer that I saw 6 months ago. I don't know why I'm thinking of it right now. You're thinking of it right now because your third house of technology is being illuminated. So it's kind of like those things. You do feel a sense of urgency in regards to pretty much any area of your life because you're feeling powerfully emotional. Your emotions are heightened. So if you want to get an answer you feel like you want an answer to whatever's been on your mind. It's like at full illumination. Like, I got to find out right now, once and for all, during the full moon, before it starts a new moon and you start a new moon cycle. So it's a good time for you to, because all of what happens to everybody is going to happen to everybody. We're on full emotional intensity. So everybody's going to feel a sense to, address situations that have been building up. But it's not a good time to do that. So wait until the new moon to start a new cycle when you're not full emotions, just, full-blown emotions where everybody's like, whoa, where did that come from? Why didn't you just say it? Like, why didn't you just tell me? So just be cautious of that, but set your intentions and write them down. Okay, the third house is the mind and communication. You're going to speak things into existence with full emotional power right during the full moon. So definitely write down the things that you want to accomplish, the things you want to do, the things that you want, all of that stuff during the full moon, and do not address any serious situations during it, okay? And if there's issues within your relationship or with people in your life, with your siblings, don't have these conversations on the full moon, just because you're going to be a lot more emotional than perhaps you would be. And you do feel a sense of urgency to hurry up and do it before the new moon. But the new moon would actually be a good time to do it because you're starting something new. You're trying to build something new, fix the relationship, start new. So, but it's really good to use the emotional power to manifest your intentions. All right, so on to the next moon. Cut. I'm doing this for myself for timestamps, people. All right, so now we're on to the full moon in the fourth house, and that's its natural place. The house of Cancer, home, family, your mother, the things that bring you security, and the place that you go when you need to lay down. So full moons illuminate, uncover, and expose things of the subconscious mind, okay? They also intensify emotions. They bring emotions up powerfully to where you feel like you need to address situations now or never. It's kind of like this high surge of emotional intensity. And this emotional intensity is perfect to use towards manifestation or setting your intentions of things that you want. Things that are going to you're going to become aware of are any issues within family members, within the house, within anything. You could suddenly get realizations about family members, insights about things that you need to do about the house, a new blanket that you need, whatever it's going to be. your subconscious becomes illuminated in areas of the fourth house. Now, you're going to experience everything just like all the houses, okay, which is intensified emotions. These intensified emotions can feel nostalgic, sad, happy, all sorts of different types of stuff. It all depends on what aspects the moon is getting that day. But you don't want to address these situations that become illuminated during the full moon, because likely you're going to emotionally address them, which might be with emotional intensity, and that's not really a good way to address situations. Now, write them down, whatever becomes brought to the surface. You know, like if you have relationship issues with your partner and the full moon makes you aware of it, of your subconscious, of the things that you've been ignoring, and all of a sudden it's like, you know, they never do the dishes, right? Or whatever. I'm just using little examples. Your family member, your mother never calls you back on time, or your mother, you know, she wants to always talk about herself, or whatever. It just, you can just think of a million things. Whatever the situation is, it's going to become amplified, and it's going to be releasing from your subconscious mind of these things that you've been bothered by. Okay. It also brings awareness to things that you're not bothered by, but it's, you know, heightened emotions tends to make things feel really unbearable, and you need to address them right now or else. And the truth of the matter is, it's not a good idea to address anything during a full moon because of the possible emotional outbursts. And you may not come across the way that you intend to. So write down the things that come to you that you want to address, and then do them on the new moon. Start to address them on the new moon, so that way you can see progress throughout it, or you're starting something new, or you can, you know, do it anytime after the full moon. Because instead of, you know, saying, you know, honey, you never take out the trash, or honey, you know, I've been asking you to do the dishes, you're going to be like, you never take out the trash. You never do the dishes. And that's never going to go over well. It's not going to get what you want. It's going to automatically cause somebody to be defensive. So these things you're going to feel a sense of urgency. Like, I got to address it now because it's full emotional power, right? So instead, what you should do is write down your intentions of the things that become illuminated. Talk to boyfriend about doing the dishes. I want a new bed. I need new blankets. I want to move to this home. I want to, you know, or I have all this stuff. However you write your intentions. I like to do them in past tense as if I already have them. But the reason why you want to do that is because you're going to use that emotional power that you have to put into your intentions. So you're going to be like thinking about, I hate where I live. And instead of yelling at your partner about hating where you live, you're going to write it down. I live in a new and better place. And you're going to put that emotional power into that, so that way you can manifest and make the changes that you need using the full moon power and the emotional power. The emotional power you're going to be putting into your intentions of the things that you want. So now that you become aware of all these things, write them out, and then you can address them when the moon is not full. And a lot of things a lot of things will come to with regards to a lot of different things, because it's illumination, and things become available in the subconscious mind that maybe you just put off or you don't even realize. So these are good things that you can write out during the full moon, and use that emotional intensity to manifest them. And it'll be in areas surrounding your home, your family, your mother, your early childhood, you know, and that includes where you live, what you need for the home. And it will also include anything that you've been emotionally bottling up or not addressing during the time period that the moon has been going into full illumination. But you just don't want to address it when it's in full illumination, which is full emotional intensity. Okay, so moving on. When the full moon occurs in the... Oops, I forgot to do cut. I'm doing this for timestamps reasons, people. So when the full moon is activating your fifth house of love, romance, creativity, children, self-expression, gambling, and leisure time, you're going to suddenly become aware of the lack of leisure and fun you've been having, or your desire to have more fun, and any lack or desires that you have regarding your love life and your relationship with your partner, and any issues or lack of or desires that you have regarding your children will all become fully illuminated, and all within your subconscious mind, things that have been bothering you will suddenly become intensified. But you don't want to address any of those problems during the full moon because you are on full emotional intensity, and that never comes across well. Although you will be feeling as if it must be addressed now because your emotions are heightened. So whatever you become consciously aware of regarding the fifth house of how your partner has been talking to you, about how your partner expresses love, about your relationship, how much love time you've had to spend together, about your children and their grades, or about your desire for children, or about whether or not you've been having any fun and why not, and all these types of things. So when the full moon illuminates this area, you go, I've been working all the time. I've been taking care of the kids. My husband, my partner's not helping me. I'm going to let everyone have it. That's what the full moon does, because it illuminates and makes you realize things that are in your subconscious that you've been, brushing away, ignoring. All of a sudden it's full emotional intensity, all pointing directly to these issues, and you just want to let everybody have it. Don't. Instead, what you want to do is you want to realize these things, and you want to write them down and say, I'm going to talk to my boyfriend, my husband, my whoever regarding what you're not getting. I'm going to have a talk with the children about this, that, and the other. I'm going to set time to have more fun. I'm going to, or you can write it in present tense or past tense. I am being more loved by my partner. I am being more loved by my children. My children are behaving, whatever you want to do. I am having more fun. And then you want to go ahead and address those situations after the full moon, because instead of when you're feeling this emotional intensity, you want to use that full emotional intensity in a direction that is positive towards your intentions of what it is that you would like to have and manifest in the future. Because that emotional intensity is going to go into something positive and constructive, rather than something that's going to set everybody in the wrong direction, upset somebody, and cause discourse. Full moons are times when people just want to explode because you feel like you got to address it right now. You're on full emotional intensity. You're realizing so many things. You got to know the answer now. You got to know the answer now. You got to know, you don't have to know the answer right now. It's just becoming this, so that way it can be dealt with, because the full moon wants you to deal with these things. It absolutely does. It's just that it's not a good time to do it, because it usually comes across wrong, and it's just not taken well when, instead of you saying, we never have fun, we never go anywhere, you guys never do your homework, I've had it. Instead, you want to realize it and go, okay, I'm going to make it. I'm going to address these situations. You can do it on the full moon, but you want to just be aware that you're going to be highly emotional, okay? And you're going to come across wrong and maybe not, sometimes I guess it's good. I just think that you should take what you become aware of regarding these areas, lack of leisure, relationships, or maybe your relationships are perfect and your kids are doing great and everything's fine. There's something else that will be illuminated. I didn't start that creative project. I need to start that creative project. I want to be an actress. I haven't applied or anything. I'm going to start doing that. It's just going to become, things are going to become conscious from your subconscious, of your wants, your needs, your desires, things that that you need are going to become, you need it now. You know what I mean? Like now. So you can use that emotional intensity to say, I'm going to get an acting job. I'm going to start my creative project. I'm going to get more love. My children are going to listen to me. I'm going to start having more fun. I'm going to plan a vacation, and write it down and put your emotional intensity into it with your desire and your need to manifest it quicker. Because you will be feeling intensified. Your emotions will be high strung, okay? And you're going to want to address everything right then and there. But I suggest you don't and that you, or at least if you're aware of it, that's the whole purpose of doing this video. If you're aware that you're going to be high strung, you can go, okay, okay, now I'm going to go have a conversation with my boyfriend, with my husband. I'm going to call my boyfriend. Now I'm going to talk to my children. However it is, with awareness, that's all you need to know. All right, so now we're on to the next moon. Cut. I'm doing this for timestamps in the videos. So now we're talking about the full moon illumination in the 6th house and what this means. Full moons are full emotional intensity. They are releasing things from the subconscious, uncovering, illuminating things from the subconscious. They are making you feel like it's now or never with the full moon. Emotions are high, 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 and they're aimed towards things that you uncovered. You know, and with the 6th house, it has to do with your coworkers. It has to do with your health and fitness. It has to do with your daily routine. It has to do with your organization, neatness, perfectionism. So things in this area will become fully illuminated. And I just see this as the full moon is occurring in your 6th house, and you come home from work and there's clothes everywhere and the dishes are undone and you just lose it, right? Because it's full emotional intensity in the house of perfection, neatness, and organization, and the house is a mess. But instead of losing it, you want to just realize that it's full moon and, you know, it was like this, but it wasn't bothering you before, but all of a sudden it's unbearable right now, right? If you have any issues that you've been subconsciously putting away and compartmentalizing somewhere else with coworkers, the full moon can bring it to awareness of so-and-so has been stealing my erasers at work and I've had it. I think I'm going to address it right now, okay? Full emotional intensity of the things that you uncover and realize in the subconscious, and also things that have been bothering you. And this it generally applies for everyone universally, that your emotions will be intensified. And so things that have been bothering you, you're going to feel like it's now or never. I need to address it now. I need to address it now. And maybe you do, but it's not typically recommended to, because you're on full emotional intensity. And instead of saying, you know what, you know, I've noticed my erasers have been missing. Have you been taking my erasers? Or can you please bring my erasers back when you borrow them? Instead of that, you'll be like, stop taking my erasers. If you take one more eraser from me, you know what I mean? It's full emotional intensity. So you don't want to address these situations. You want to recognize them, or you want to be consciously aware that it's full moon. So you have to have a full moon app on your phone. And when you see the full moon and you're at work and it's 6 a.m. and the full moon is at 6 a.m. and you go, oh, I'm not going to address the erasers right now because, man, do I want to, right? You're going to say, okay, well, I'm going to address them, but I'm not going to do it with full emotional intensity, because with awareness, that's key, right? You know, okay, I'm going to be totally emotional and blow up and I'm going to not do it. You can do that and address the situation that way. But typically it's not recommended to address any of these things that become illuminated on the full moon. It's good to write them down and make sure that you address them the next day. Because there are things that are bothering you and they need to be addressed. It's just that on full emotional intensity, you're not likely to come across right. And you could burn some bridges or just cause some drama that's not necessary. So things will become you will become consciously aware, and full emotional intensity applied to them. Applied to your areas of neatness, organization, coworkers, exercise routine. You know, you can suddenly go, you know what, I haven't been working out and I really want to start working out. You know, and you could start a workout routine or write down what you want to accomplish. You want to change your diet. It's all about health. You'll start saying, you know what, on the full moon, I need to change my diet. Because you'll just become aware of these things. These things will suddenly come aware. You'll, whether it's through a bone ache and you go, I need more calcium. You know, whatever. I'm just saying this is how the universe works. It just brings full illumination, brings the subconscious mind out into the open temporarily, which we don't have access to a lot. So things that we've been putting away or putting off suddenly become super matters of importance. And, you know, if you're having problems with, you know, coworkers or your partner or your children or whatever, you want to just make sure that you're aware that it's full moon and you may not come across right. Okay? That you may just, instead of saying what the problem is, you're going to explode it. You're going to be coming across like, I've just had it, right? So you want to write down these things, and instead you want to use this emotional power that you have because it's full-blown emotions. Emotions are powerful for manifestation. So set your intentions of the things that you want to do. I will start a workout regime. I will change my diet. I am cleaning my house. I am organizing all this stuff. I am going to do it. Putting that full moon emotional intensity into doing it. Start doing it and taking action in these areas that you can of the things that you become aware of. And use that emotional intensity for the positive to get things done, to address, you know, to realize the things that need to be addressed. If you are consciously aware enough to manage your emotions, then you can address them then. It's just not suggested that you do because most people can't. It's just full emotional. It's usually brought to the surface of you need an answer now. Everything is in a hurry. You just start to feel as the full moon comes and you're like, I've been wanting to change my diet forever and I haven't changed my diet. It's like, okay, now you know that you got to do something about it because it's really bothering you, okay? Those are just examples, but use the emotional intensity to manifest the things that you want, to put it into getting things done, to making changes, not so much into communicating them with high emotional voltage because it's just not going to come across right, or at least if you're aware of it, you can try. So areas of health, fitness, coworkers, anybody that works for you as well. You know, you may have a maid or somebody that's been helping you and they haven't been doing a very good job and the full moon comes and you're just going to fire them on the spot. You know what I mean? It's just high emotional intensity. So just be sure you write it out, you think things through, you calm down, you go, okay, is this absolutely sure? Because I am going to be feeling it emotionally intense. So instead, write down, I need a new helper. I will find a new helper on the full moon, and then after the full moon, go and have a talk with the person. So there goes the full moon in the 6th house. So now moving on to the next house. Cut full moon in the 7th house. All right, so full moon in the 7th house is going to bring to your realization, it's going to illuminate all things relationship-oriented, partnership-oriented, and the people that are close to you in your life. Any relationship issues or problems that you've been having, the full moon is going to bring them, anything you've been compartmentalizing, tolerating up until the full moon, or maybe even before, are going to feel like they need to be addressed right now. The full moon intensifies emotions, okay? But instead of having that conversation with your partner or those people close to you that have been bothering you or not following through or not doing things that you need or whatever, write it down during the full moon and put your emotional intensity into manifestation, into manifesting what you would like to have instead. I will have a partner who respects me. My partner will do the dishes. These are just examples of things that you might feel like you need to let out right now because you've had it. You've had it. You realize, you know, my partner never calls me back, but 4 hours later, and you know what? And he's been doing it for the past, 6 months or so. But all of a sudden the full moon is in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships, and it's just bringing full emotional intensity to the fact that this really irks you. And so then you pick up the phone and you call your partner and you go, I have had it. You call me back in 5 minutes or less. Right? That's just one example. Or, people that have been bothering you, you suddenly, hey, you know what? My friend hasn't been, she's never there for me when I need her. I'm going to let her have it right now. I have to tell her, hi, you've never been there for me. Why is it, it's like, wait, why are you coming across so harsh? Or because it's a full moon, she's going to come across explosive too. Why are you accusing me of stuff? Everybody's high octane emotions on the full moon, right? So it's not a good time to address things. It's a good time to realize them and realize their importance, because you're going to feel like, I have to do this right now. I can't take one more second of this. But instead, write it down and use that emotional intensity to obtain the goals that you want, okay? So if you are single and you want a partner, use that emotional intensity. I will meet my soulmate. He will be, or she will be like this, and she will be like that, and she will be like that. End the story with full emotional intensity. I will, and that emotional intensity is going to go out there, and the universe is going to start working on how to bring you this person. Okay? Or if you're in a relationship with somebody, my partner will listen to me. My partner will be respectful. My partner will, whatever their name is or whatever. Or I'm going to talk to so-and-so tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. when it's not the full moon, so I don't scream. Because instead of, saying, all of a sudden the full moon comes and you're like, I haven't gotten a present. And we've been together for 2 years. And I only get a present on Christmas, and I never get a card, I never get flowers, I never get candy, or I never get whatever. I'm just saying these are things that become all of a sudden bothersome during the full moon, especially in your partnership house. Like I said, my friend's never there for me, or my friend missed this important date that mattered to me and I never addressed it and I need to address it. All these things that bother you are going to be amplified. So suddenly you become aware, like, you know what? Oh, man, I have to do something about that right now. And it's good because it motivates us to solve these issues so they're no longer just lingering in the ghosts and haunting us in the background, right? But usually it's not a good time to address things, because instead of saying, honey, you haven't bought me any candy in a long time, or, I feel like you never, whatever issues you got, you leave your socks on the floor all the time. You're going to say, if I see one more sock on that floor, you know what I mean? And it's just going to blow up. And then plus your partner is on full moon emotional intensity too. So nobody's even listening. Everybody's just full blown emotions. So you definitely don't want to address things unless you are aware of it. But the likelihood that both people that you're communicating with need to be aware of it. So that way you guys can talk rationally. But usually if you're aware of it and go, okay, I'm not going to come across hostile because of the full moon, and I'm going to have this conversation with my partner, but your partner's not aware of the full moon. So they respond emotionally. You're attacking me, and it's just, full moons are full emotions. And it's also illuminations of those things that have been bothering you, and you feel the sense of urgency to do it right now. But it's usually a good idea to just write these things down and address them at a better time, usually the next day. You will then at least know, okay, I have to have this conversation. I'm going to just not do it right now because I know it's just going to end up being drama. So because you're going to feel things so intensely. So I always say full moons are perfect times to manifest, to set your intentions on the things that you really want, because your emotional power is strong. It's a full moon energy. Your emotional power is strong. Emotions are a big part of manifestation. You got to really want it, right? You got to really want it, and you got to say, I will, if you're single, like I said, meet my soulmate. If you have problems with your relationship, my partner will be more accommodating. Whatever, things that you want in terms of it. I want to get married, by next year of this date. Just write it out and put your emotional intensity into it. You can use it for anything else. It doesn't just have to be for relationships with the 7th house, okay? Because it's full moon emotional intensity. So it's a good time to really feel what you want and really push it out there, and then have the universe go out and try to bring it to you, or go out and bring it to you based on your energy, your vibrational energy of need, want, and putting it out there. So you'll have illuminations, realizations, and emotional intensity directed towards areas of partnership, marriage, relationships with all others and those close to you. And also open enemies, people that you don't like, you're going to really want to let them have it on the full moon. It's just not a good idea. So try to wait until the following day. Use the full moon intensity to put into things that are positive for furthering your goals. And write them out and put your emotional intensity into that. Okay, so on to the next moon. Cut. Full moon in the 8th house. This is the house of partners, other people's resources, other people's money, banks, loans, credit cards, government money. It's the house of intense experience. So this is going to be a rather intense moon, okay? Because the moon itself is elevated maximum potential emotions. It's full illumination. And what it does is it illuminates the subconscious mind. The moon rules over the subconscious, and your emotional needs become heightened, and things become uncovered that were bothering you, that you put away and decided not to deal with at that time. All of a sudden, it needs to be dealt with now. It's on full-blown emotional power. The thing is, you don't want to address things during the full moon because it's not going to be taken very well. You have to understand that you're going to be on a full moon emotional intensity. You're going to come across highly emotional, okay? And so is everyone else because everybody else is on the full moon emotional intensity too. So although you're feeling so intensely that you got to let your partner have it for not doing any of the things that you want them to do, you don't want to do it. You want to save it for the next day, okay? But you want to become aware of these things and how much they bothered you so that way you do address them. But you just don't address them when everybody's on full-blown emotions because it's just going to turn out to be an explosion, right? You're going to become aware of issues with partners, other people. You're going to become very aware of your finances and new ways of how you can save and put away your money. You may start thinking, I really need to start saving all of a sudden on the full moon. You can start thinking, uncovering things in your subconscious that you've been putting off and all of a sudden, or maybe you just weren't aware of, all of a sudden it illuminates it and you say, I really want to start an IRA, or I want to start investing in the stock market. Or my partner hasn't been paying half the bills. Or my business partner hasn't been making any money. All these things are going to become illuminated and high voltage emotions attached to them, okay? So you're going to uncover hidden things as well because the 8th house is about all things that you've been pushing down below. And just like the buoy, you push it under the water, it comes up. And with the full moon intensity, we're talking about one heck of a situation here that you want to get a hold of. So instead of addressing these bothersome things that you uncover during the full moon, and you just feel like you have to address them right now because A, it's the 8th house and it's Pluto house, which is now, and B, it's the full moon illumination, intensity, emotional power at the same time of I have to do it now. So instead of doing that, you want to use that emotional intensity and power towards obtaining something, setting your intentions and into manifestation. So if you want to start investing your money into the stock market, you're going to write it out and feel it and put that emotional intensity into, I need more money. I'm going to start investing into the stock market. If you have issues with your partners, any of them, your lover, your partner, anybody close to you, anybody that you have money attachments to, so-and-so hasn't paid me that money back, I'm going to call him up and I'm going to yell at him. Instead of saying, how you owe me some money, when are you planning on paying me this money back? You might call them and say, if I don't get that money by tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., it's like you're on fire emotionally. So use that emotional intensity to set your intentions and to demand things from the universe, the things that need changes, and then address these situations the following day when everybody's not on full-blown moon intensity. But you will uncover things in your subconscious, and you will uncover things that you've pushed down, and suddenly they're going to be pushed up because you need to deal with these things, okay? You need to deal with these because they're just, like I said, they're going to keep popping up. But become totally aware that you're on high emotional intensity and try to do them the next day, but definitely write them down so that you remember to do them and say, remember how I felt yesterday where I was going to blow a fuse if I didn't address the situation? I need to address the situation. So I'm going to address it I'm going to address it today. And it's good to write them down because you'll forget, or you may just, you know, if you suppress, you're not going to forget because, first of all, if you're listening to this video and you're planning and you know this now, you're going to actually be aware of the fact that the full moon is going to intensify everybody's emotions. So it's not a good time to talk to anybody about anything or address situations because nobody's going to be acting rationally during the full moon. Or, you know, some people may, but it's usually high intensity. So take those things that you become aware of in terms of where you want to put your money, in terms of whether or not your partner's been giving their equal share, whether or not you've been giving your equal share, whether or not you've been having enough intimacy and sex. It's the 8th house. You know, all these things, instead of saying, you know, honey, we need to make more time for ourselves, you know. You'll be like, if I don't get... You want to be able to address these things rationally or calmly, so that way it's heard, and that way that it can be productive. So you will become aware of a lot of things. So during this time period, become aware of them, write them down, set your intentions, and use that emotional intensity and power to get those things done, to start a plan to get them done. All right, so on to the next moon. Cut. I'm doing this for timestamps. All right, so the next moon, the full moon, illumination, full emotional power, is now in the 9th house of higher learning, seeking answers, philosophy, travel, politics, the government, conspiracy. So illuminations and realizations will become aware from your subconscious mind, and also just become aware in these areas. So you're going to suddenly realize things that maybe you've been putting off, maybe you haven't been addressing. For instance, if you've been wanting to go back to school, but you haven't been doing anything to do that, the full moon can make you feel like, you know what? I have to sign up for a school like right now. You really don't have to do it right now, but the full moon intensity makes you feel like, I got to do it right now. If you have a boyfriend or girlfriend overseas and they haven't been texting you back or calling you back right away when you've been wanting to, or your lack of communication hasn't been good, full moon comes in and you're going to call them and you're going to tell them. But you're not going to tell them in the right way, okay, because you're on full-blown moon intensity. You're going to call them and say, if you don't call me back in 5 minutes or less, it's over. So you may want to save that conversation to the next day. The next day after the full moon. But you're going to become aware of things that are in your subconscious mind. Emotional needs are going to become very powerful. So use these to set your intentions. Tomorrow I'm going to sign up for, I'm going to look into schools. Tomorrow I'm going to go to this law firm to look for a job. Tomorrow I'm going to research religion. Tomorrow I'm going to look into my philosophy. Or you can do that. The 9th house is actually one of the best places to have a full moon, because truly, if you want to go look into philosophy with full emotional intensity, have at it, right? It's the conversations with other people that you don't want to have on the full moon, or the things that you realize that have been bothering you that you don't want to have on the full moon. You want to use those to set your intentions. You want to use that emotional power and energy to set those intentions. So the full moon can make you suddenly realize that you want to learn a new subject, that you want to go to school, that you suddenly want to look up something on the computer, you know, that you want to go, I want to investigate this. I want to look into that. You know, question your belief system. Suddenly you go, you know, what do I really believe? You know, all of these things will become illuminated. But also, just generally for everyone, emotions are intensified. So if there's something bothering you in your subconscious mind, or things that you've been putting off and not addressing that's been bothering you, it suddenly becomes amplified, okay? So like if you work in a law firm and you're having a problem with one of the lawyers and it's full moon, you're going to want to say, you know what, this has got to stop. You may want to speak out your opinions on your philosophy, your beliefs, and stuff like that as well, with full emotional intensity. So full moons just bring about things, and you feel like you feel like you have to do it now or never. It's like there's a sense of urgency to it because you're so feeling strongly about it. So like I said, the best way to use the full moon is to use that emotional intensity towards something positive and towards your goals in terms of setting your intentions and putting full emotional intensity into those and put them out into the universe. So that way they can start working, the universe can start working on bringing that to you, is the best way to use the full moon. You may decide you suddenly want to schedule a trip or a vacation, you know? You may decide you want to travel to a different country. You need to travel more. You need to research more. You need to read more. You want to learn more. Whatever happens during it, fantastic. Full moon in the 9th house is actually one of the best places. But it can still make emotions highly intense, so use it constructively towards goals, setting your intentions, rather than having conversations with people that have been really irking you, because they are on full moon energy too, and chances are it's not going to go over very well. So I hope you found this helpful, and now I'm on to the next moon. Cut. Full moon in the 10th house. This is all about your career and your place in the world. And the full moon is about full illumination, realizations, uncovering things that you didn't, that are in your subconscious mind. Okay, where do you want to be in your career? Where do you want to, what's your place in the world? What's your relationship like with your father? If you have issues or you've been having difficulties with your father, the 10th house rules the father, full moon illuminations, you're going to want to say, Dad, we need to talk. It's better off if you don't do it on the full moon, because Dad is on full moon emotional intensity too. It's not good to address situations on full moons because everybody's on the full moon emotional intensity. So whoever you're talking to is going to emotionally whoosh, right back, or not take it well, and it's not going to go over very well. So instead, use that emotional intense energy towards your intentions of things that are going to help you progress further. The things that you uncover and become illuminated at work. My boss, I cannot stand my boss. I think I'm going to let him have it. You don't want to let your boss have it on the full moon. But instead, write it down. I'm going to talk to my boss tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I can't stand my job. I think I'll quit on the full moon. I really can't stand this job anymore. I'm going to quit. Don't quit. Realize it's a full moon and that it's become unbearable. You're on full emotional intensity and not likely to make a wise decision. But it's going to bring about the fact that you really do hate your job, and man, do you hate it. So maybe you should start planning for looking for another job. So you're going to write down, I am going to find a new job. And when you're writing it down, you're going to have your emotional intensity into it. You're going to send it out into the universe, and the universe is going to bring you a new job. Because you're going to go, I will get a new job. That's the best way to handle it, rather than I quit and walk out with no job, right? So any issues or problems that you want to address during the full moon, it's always better that you don't, because again, everybody's on full moon intensity. And also you are feeling this because it is something that you need to address. And it is a change that you need to make. But you need to write it down and take action. Use that emotional intensity to take action in a direction towards you by setting your intentions and using it for manifestation. Full moons are awesome for manifesting because we are full emotional power. My partner doesn't do anything for me. I will have a partner that does this, that, and the other. But you're going to say it with full emotional intensity, and you're going to write it down, and all of a sudden you're going to end up meeting this person, whatever. In the 10th house, it has to do with your father, your career, your place in the world, how other people see you. The full moon could come, and all of a sudden your subconscious, where you're like, you know what, I don't know how people feel about me. I think people are talking bad about me, or whatever, becomes illuminated, right? In your subconscious, your needs, your real needs in there become amplified, as well as your emotional needs. So whether it's an unhappy job, the 10th house is the father, like I said, a relationship with your father, of things that need to be addressed and fixed, or, what kind of career you want to have. Use that energy to manifest it. Use that energy to write it down and manifest it and put it into action, rather than making foolish decisions at the heat of the moment because you just gotta let it out now. So those things will become illuminated. You'll become aware of a lot of things. Maybe a new job that you want. Maybe a new career. Maybe you're like, you know what, I'd really like to get into design, or I'd really like to, get into building, or, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Just you may realize all these different things that you want to start or do towards your career, towards your place in the world, towards who you are, maybe even personality traits that you want to change about yourself. All of a sudden you realize, I'm coming across too overbearing, or I'm coming across too passive. Whatever it is, you will realize these things, and then you'll be able to make changes due to the awareness that you get. But you just don't want to address any emotional confrontations during the full moon in the 10th house or during any full moon. You want to write them down so you remember them, because they're obviously bothering you and changes you need to make, but you want to address them after the full moon. Have those conversations when everybody's not on full moon steroids, and then set your intentions and take action for the new moon. All right, so that's just a gist of a quick rundown of the full moon in the 10th house. Next, cut. Full moon in the 11th house. Full illumination, realizations of the subconscious mind and true emotional needs suddenly become very important regarding friends, groups, associations, and people you have in your life, but also just overall. Full moons are full emotional intensity. Things that were suppressed or ignored or put off during the full moon, you feel like it's now or never. You got to address the situation right now because it's full moon and you're about to pop. But don't, because everybody else is on full moon intensity as well. So you may realize things about your friendships, about the people that you're friends with. So-and-so hasn't really been there for me. So-and-so did this to me. I think I'll call him or her right now and let them have it. Don't. It's not going to go over well. Wait until the next day. You may realize things about where you want to be in the world, your place in the world, any groups or associations that you want to join. You may have issues with whatever. Somebody, a relationship, a partnership. Somebody's not doing their part. Whatever it is, it's going to become whatever has been festering in the background, in the subconscious, in your true emotional needs will be illuminated and amplified with emotions. That's why everybody's totally emotional on the full moon. You could be a bit nostalgic and sensitive as well, but during this time period, it's the best time to recognize what's being illuminated and how bad it bothers you, and then write it down about taking action the next day. So that way you don't forget and remember how much you were upset about it, so that way you take action. A lot of times we're propelled to take action right away, but because everybody's on full moon energy, it rarely ever goes off well. Because anything that you say, if you say, can I talk to you about something you're doing? Are you accusing me of something? You're just not going to get anywhere. If you want to make any decisions to suddenly leave the group or association that you're a part of, and you just want to blow up and say, I can't stand any of you, and I am out of here on the full moon, you may want to wait, just because you don't need to be that dramatic about it, okay? And you can just make a peaceful exit out the back door, right? Oops, kicking my... you can, you're going to want to address, you're going to find out things about your friendship groups and associations and affiliations, and maybe you might want to suddenly join some philanthropic group or something. You might go, I really want to start, or maybe something in technology or anything that's 11th house related, Aquarius, but it's not only going to do that, it's also going to bring awareness to anything else that's been hidden or that you haven't had clarity on. People can just come out with, all of a sudden you realize stuff and you're like, what? I'm going to just let them have it. You don't want to do that. Instead, what you want to do is you want to take this emotional intensity and this power that you have right now with this full moon illumination, and you want to put it into your intentions of how to better the situations of the issues that have come up. So instead of telling your friend off, you can write down, I will have new friends that are loyal. And you put your emotional tensions into that, because that emotions is power. And the universe will go out and start orchestrating how to bring you more people like you, rather than putting all your energy into this person and telling them off. Not that you can't say, look, I think it's good that you and I aren't friends anymore. But chances of you doing it like that on the full moon are very slim, okay? So what I'm trying to say, jokingly aside, is that you're going to be on high voltage emotional intensity because things suddenly have to be handled right now. That's the full moon. It's full emotional intensity. So rather than that, the things that you become aware of and the things that you become like that become clear to you, start writing them down. Set your intentions for the things that you do want. Use it proactively for yourself in a positive manner. Take these realizations and make those changes. But just don't necessarily address them on the full moon. The next day is always the best time to do that. Okay, so you can become aware of things within your friendship group. You can become aware of things within our society. You can become aware of things in groups, affiliations that you belong to. And you can also get bothered by just something as simple as a friend or your family member or your partner. And you're going to feel like, I need to address it now because it's just so intense. But the truth of the matter is, it's not a good time to do it. So use that emotional intensity to manifest the things that you want, is what I'm trying to say, long story short. And do it by writing it down, using, because you're going to be feeling emotional and you're going to feel really intensely about the things that you do want. So use that to manifest. I always say full moons are full moon energy to manifest the things that you do want. So use it to manifest, long story short. And also to become aware of the changes that you need to make and to make those changes. All right, so now next moon. Cut. So now we're on to the 12th house moon, the final one. In the 12th house is where the moon belongs because it's about the subconscious mind, and the moon is also uncovering things in the subconscious. It makes us aware, it illuminates things. So full moon, full illumination in the subconscious mind, there's a lot of things you're going to uncover. You might be doing some reminiscing. You might be feeling like there's flashbacks going on. Things will just pop up that you weren't aware of. Things, past situations, past, relationships, past whatever, all sorts of things that you've been wanting to do and been putting off, whatever it is. Full illumination there. So you have total access to your subconscious mind during the full moon. And you're going to uncover things about yourself and other people. And about, in general, about, you're probably going to have very powerful dreams during the full moon in your 12th house as well that can show you a lot of insights too. But the full moon is high emotional intensity. It's a good time to set your intentions and for manifestation. Okay. And especially when it's in your 12th house of the subconscious mind, because you're going to realize all these things that you really want. And you're going to have that full moon intensity, that energy to put into your intentions of the things that it is, the things that are what you do want. Okay. But so much is going to be uncovered during the full moon in the 12th house that there's going to be things that you want to do and you're going to feel like time has run out and you need to do it now. Because when we're on full emotional power, things that have bothered you, you may feel like you want to address right then and there. And it's not a good time to do it because everybody's on full moon intensity. So they're not going to take it right and you're not going to say it right. It's just going to come out like, rather than what it is that you need to say. You're going to feel this urgency to get it done, to address it, to say something about it, although I notice with the 12th house full moon, it's not as much as it is for all the other houses. Because you're really in your subconscious and you're really just realizing things. And during this time period, you're kind of reserved and secluded and just going through your dream world and your spiritualism and uncovering things that you go, amazing things are uncovered in the subconscious mind. Okay. And with the full moon, it's like you'll realize things from way back when to yesterday to all sorts of stuff about a person that you never even realized. All of a sudden you're like, wow, a lot of that happens. So what I always suggest during the full moon, instead of addressing situations during the full moon and everybody's on full blown intense energy, it's a good time to set your intentions and to write out what it is that you want to accomplish based on what you learned, what was illuminated, what became aware. Okay. Because it's the 12th house of spiritualism, you can have spiritual revelations. It's also hospitals, sanctuaries, doctors. You can suddenly become aware of needing to go to the doctor, or maybe somebody has to go to the doctor or something like that. These are just possibilities. But, you know, things become urgent during the full moons because it's high emotional intensity. So you want to, you know, outside of the things that could happen and come about of people needing your help or something like that happening, or a crisis of some sort that can happen during the full moon, mostly it's you uncovering things and realizing things that need to be addressed, that need to be handled, and that can be changed. And for you to set your intentions with that full moon energy of the things that you want to accomplish, the things that you want to change. You know, I will join yoga, right? I want to go to yoga. I want to join a spiritual class. I want to learn how to decipher dreams. I want to, you know, these are just 12th house matters, but you could be anything else that you realize. You could say, I realize I want a new job. I can't stand my job that I have right now. I will get a new job, you know, but use that emotional intensity, because the emotional intensity that you're feeling, turn it into energy to manifest towards the goals that you do want, rather than to explode things or blow things up or yell at people or anything like that, because that's what happens with full moons. So what I'm trying to say, long story short, is outside of the things that you will uncover, outside of the things that could potentially come about on full moons, other people may want to confront something with you on the full moon. It's just that everybody's at high emotional intensity, so you typically don't want to do that. But set your intentions, write out your manifestations or the things that you want to manifest, and put your emotional intensity into it. How bad do you really want this to change? How bad do you want this to happen? You know, and put it in there and set your intentions and use the full moon energy for that. So this is just a general short video on full moons and how you can use them and what they can bring about throughout the 12 houses. So if you've listened this far, thank you for joining me and listening to all 12 houses. And I will be doing a lot more videos. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. But be sure to click the bell to get notified of my uploads as they come. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time.